And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Kamaki versus Looney step forward.
23-year-old Alicia Kamaki is suing 18-year-old Angelo Looney for totaling her motor scooter. Angelo says Alicia knew it was his first time on a scooter.
You can stand up with him. Ms. Kamaki, this is your case. You're a coach of some sort of a team, a league?
Yeah, the basketball team.
And Mr. Looney came by because you were coaching the team and you had a scooter. Mr. Looney asked if he could take a ride in the scooter, and you told him he could. And he took a ride around, and he didn't know how to drive it too well because he totaled it, crashed it, and totaled it. You want him to pay for it. Mr. Looney says you should have had better insurance. That's your defense, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Where's your responsibility?
My responsibility for it?
Yeah, where is your responsibility?
Not sure. I messed up.
What?
I messed up, ma'am.
Right. So why are you here?
I'm here because I don't feel that I should pay for the scooter.
Well, you just told me you messed up.
Well, I realize that I messed up by riding the scooter, but, you know...
No, you didn't mess up by riding it. You messed up by totaling it. That's how you messed up. Had you ridden the scooter before?
No, only with someone as a passenger.
So then why did you take her scooter?
Because it looked easy, because she lets everybody else use it, so...
Don't tell me what she lets everybody else do. Everybody else may have driven the scooter and knew how to run it, and knew how to take care of it, didn't have a problem. If you never rode one before, except as a passenger, why did you take it?
It looked fun, so I wanted to ride it.
Looked like fun, and you wanted to ride it, so if you damage something, then you have to pay for it. Doesn't that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Now, why do you think your mother and father would say anything different?
Because if it's hers, if it's someone else's, and they let you do it, it's under their responsibility also.
Who told you that?
My mom did.
She's a lawyer?
No, ma'am.
What does she do?
My mom works at an aerospace company.
Then I would suggest that she take some legal training before she gives you legal advice. That's certainly not a good thing for a parent to teach their child, that if they do something wrong by using somebody's property negligently, which is what you did, this scooter doesn't drive itself. It didn't drive itself into a wall. You drove it into the wall. Oh, yeah, you want to say something? Perfect.
Yeah,
stand up.
Move over, Samantha. Good afternoon. I am Angelo's mother, and I want to clarify the direction I gave him about responsibility and owing on a debt for particularly this scooter. The position I have is that I didn't know about the situation until he was frustrated with the communication through the coach saying that he owed her money. He had been hurt, and he had told me an untruth, stating that he had been playing at school, ran into a wall, passing a football, and, you know, injured himself.
So he lied to you?
He lied to me. And then when it came to the point where Coach Kamaki felt she needed to be paid for the damages of her scooter, that's when he came forward and telling me that she was harassing him.
She was harassing him?
Yeah, for money.
That's not harassing him.
Well, I never knew
That's
of
not
a
harassing
scooter.
him.
I felt it was because...
Why?
She gave him permission to ride a scooter. She's a coach for the school. It was on campus. She assumed the risk. Why should he pay for something that happened on her property?
You see the look on his face?
Yeah, I see it.
What do you think that look says?
He seems confused, but I'm not.
No, just a second.
Oh.
Bird hasn't been confused in 30 years.
Right.
Bird hasn't been confused in 30 years. He's looking at you with a look of incredulity that this is the advice that you're giving to your child.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I think you're full of baloney, and I think the advice that you're giving to your son is all wrong. And teach him how to be a man and accept his responsibility if he does something wrong.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Basketball coach Alicia Kamaki says student Angelo Looney wrecked her motor scooter. Angelo admits to the crash, but says he shouldn't be held responsible.
Now, how many children do you have?
4.
Do they have automobiles?
Only one.
Who does?
Angelo.
Has a car?
Yes, he does.
Who bought him the car?
I did.
You say that with some tone as if I'm going to argue with you.
No.
I'm not arguing with you. You bought him a car.
Yes.
Is the car in your name or his name?
It's in my name.
So anything that he does with that car comes back to you.
That's right.
And do you have a car?
Yes, I do.
And does your husband have a car?
Yes, he does.
So car is under your name. And let's say Angelo lets somebody of his drive the car. And he drives the car into a 7-Eleven store and injures a passenger and totals the car. You think you would like to sue his friend?
I would assume the risk if I own the car, I have insurance. That's why I have insurance.
And I think you're full of baloney. I think you're full of baloney. I think that if Angelo let somebody else use the car and somebody behaved recklessly with your car, you would say, I may have to pay the damage, but I'm going to go after them because they're the ones who acted recklessly. And I only gave permission to him to drive my car. I didn't give permission to this other kid to drive my car. So I think that your answer to me is full of baloney. And I think the advice that you're giving to your son is all wrong. You took the scooter. You had no experience driving it. Now, just remember, you already lied to your mother once, right? When you got on the scooter, did you say to Miss Kamaki, by the way, I've never ridden a scooter before?
No, she didn't ask.
I didn't ask you whether she asked. I said, did you tell her? That requires an answer.
No, I didn't tell
You
her.
didn't.
I would like to say that I did ask, and he did tell me he's ridden a scooter before.
Well, he rode as a passenger on a scooter.
I said, have you ever had experience driving a scooter? And he said, yes, I have. And obviously we can tell he's lied to his mom, he lied to me.
Then that wasn't true. Then he told a lie. And the scooter went into a wall?
Yes.
Why?
Because I couldn't stop it. I was trying to stop it, and I couldn't.
And you didn't know how?
No, I didn't know how.
His fault. Got to teach him how to be a man and accept his responsibility if he does something wrong. How much is the damage?
17.
Do you want to say anything?
I was there, and she didn't ask if he knew how to ride.
I don't believe that's true. I don't even believe you heard it. Sit down. You weren't there either. You want to say something?
Yes, I would like to say something, Judge.
Sure.
Great, thank you.
That's Dumb and Dumber.
Granted that my son did damage the scooter, the problem that I have with the case is the fact that 4 weeks later, we find out through him being texted that, hey, you owe this money. We never had any notification that our son was injured. Okay, he was hurt. He blacked out. We never got any kind of report from the school to say, hey, there was an accident.
What does that have to do with the scooter?
That has to do with responsibility, I believe. As an adult, it has to do with responsibility. If I got a child that got hurt, someone should have notified us, say, hey, there was an accident on
Did you go to the
campus.
hospital to pick him up?
We didn't find out until 4 weeks later, man.
Judge
Kamaki,
Judy
on what date did this happen?
February 12th, 2008.
Was your son living at home on February 12th?
Yes, he was.
What time in the afternoon,
It was
morning?
about 2:30.
What time do you get home from work?
About 5:30.
Was your son at home at 5:30?
I can't recall at that time.
Were you home at 5:30?
No.
Where were you?
I was going to visit my grandmother.
So did you go to visit your grandmother?
Yes.
What time did you arrive at your grandmother's?
Around 4 or something, yeah.
And what did you do with your grandmother's?
I spent time with her.
What do you mean you spent time? What did you do with your grandmother?
I, hanged out with my grandma because I don't get to see him a lot because she lives
How
in
did you
LA.
get there?
My dad came to pick me up.
Your biological father came and picked you up. When your biological father came to pick you up, did you ask him to take you to a hospital?
No.
Ask him to take you to a doctor?
No.
Did he say, what's wrong with your son?
No. He didn't notice.
Nothing. Why don't you have the seat, sir?
Okay.
Perfect. Aren't you glad you stood up there?
No, yeah, actually, I am.
How much was it to fix your scooter?
Actually, I am.
$1,741.23.
Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Oh, I'm obviously excited.
I totally disagree with the outcome.
I was hanging out with my girlfriend right before practice and everything.
He did not know how to ride the bike.
She had came up on the scooter, and I was like, hey, can I ride it? Because it looked cool. I know everybody else rode it, and I jumped on it.
I feel that the coach is an agent of the school. It happened on school campus.
I'm not an employee of the school, and they feel that I am. I'm a walk-on coach.
I was riding around the school campus and everything, and when it was time to give it back to her, I couldn't stop, and I ended up running into a wall.
It did look like he was trying to stop, but it was scary watching him go into the wall.
I blacked out for a little bit, and I had a sprained wrist.
He could have internal injuries that we never knew about.
He was just lifeless for a couple seconds, and we went over and tried to wake him up, and he woke up all confused and wasn't exactly sure what happened.
At least give me a heads up to go get him examined.
I actually did make sure that he was okay.
Well, hopefully, later on, we can meet and greet and be cool again.
I've never really had a relationship with him, so it hasn't affected it really at all.